Today the subject is very important. Usually, I do not like in front of the media to bring some a subject like that. Based on what I know, that people come to the mosque to soften their hearts. They need someone to give them encouragements and pushings to elevate, improve the solidness they suffer. Because when you go home, if you're alone, shaitan is going to work with you. And shaitan to the two is more distant than the one. And to the one is closer than the two. So you suffer. You need to repent to Allah. You need to come to Allah. So usually the subject that meets your need should be in the mosque. And I usually speak about things that soften the hearts, which are very important. But it seems that the ummah needs another remedy also. There's a type of sickness that the ummah suffers today. What is it? Let me be very open with you, okay? Okay? There are two types of jihad. Jihad against tyrants, pharaoh types of people, etc., etc. But there's another jihad. Jihad against those not political leaders, no, but false cults and doctrines people. Because those people are confining us, freezing our work, giving us bad nicknames. Mujassim, Mushabbih. Have you heard of those words before? They say that to you. They say that to you. Yeah. No, I mean yeah. Mushabbih, Mushabbiha, Mujassima, Wahhabiyya, etc., etc. What's wrong with this hatred? Sometimes you get, surprised, shocked. What kind of hatred is that? Why? What did I do, ya akhi? You are Mushabbih, Mujassim. You are what did I do? You guys believe that Allah has hands, huh? Shame on you. Accusation. If somebody was accused in the court, you did it. Then he says, no, I swear, that was him. He told me. Right? So if somebody said to me, you believe that Allah has hands, huh? I say, Wallahi, not me. It was Allah who told me that. Where? Ya Iblis, ma mana'aka an tasjuda lima khalaqtu biyadayya. Oh Iblis, what had stopped you from bowing down to the one I created by my two hands? He says, no, you're wrong. Hand means power. Power? Yes. Who said that? The Ash'aris. Ash'aris are Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. If you want to be Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, be Ash'ari or Maturidi. Period. Stop. Thank you. Oh, really? So if you want to go to the doctor, you suffer some pains in your hand. You say, oh, doctor, my power, I have a problem in my power. Only one power? No, in the two powers, I have problems. Can you check my two powers, please? Can you speak like that? Whether you speak English or Bengali or whatever. Do you speak this language? Do you say to the doctor, I have a problem, I have a pain in my two powers? But you have four powers, not only two powers. Where are the other powers? In your legs. Don't you walk by your legs? That's a power. Right? So what are you talking about? Some people say, no, hands means grace. Hands means grace. So if I say, I wrote by my hand, so are you writing by your grace? Right. If the Prophet said that Allah wrote the Torah by his hand, have you heard of this hadith? It's authentic. So by the grace. And by the way, when Allah said to the devil, what had stopped you from bowing down to the one I created by my two hands? You know what it means? Allah is giving a specification of honor to Adam. Preference. Because if there's no preference here, So the devil will be saying to Allah, and me also you created me by your two hands, which are your power. So what is the difference between me and him? Did you get the point? Those people are trying to twist the meanings of Allah's words, just like exactly what the Jews did before. Exactly. So therefore today we're going to shed the lights on that issue, which is very important. Because the more you know about the pure doctrine, that will drive you closer to Allah. But those people are shackling us from knowing the truth. And look at them as a result. They are people of ignorance. They are hostile. They are aggressive people, the way they deal with us. To the extent that I said to one of them, wait a minute, please, imagine that I'm a Christian and you want to invite me. Do you speak to me the way you're speaking now? He said, no. So why don't you speak to me in a better way? I'm not Christian, I'm Muslim, yahi. Let's say I'm the deviated Muslim, okay? At least give me a good approach. Wahhabi mujassim, enemy of Allah. It's very strange. So, let's begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. The subject is the position of Ahlus Sunnah towards Ahlul Bid'ah. Why this subject is important? It is a good step forward. It is a good step towards uniting the Ummah. Because if we remain with those people on the same division, they have their own methodology, we will never get united. Never. How can those two kinds of people unite? One says, Ya Allah. The other one says, Ya Sidi Abdul Qadir Jilani, help me. How can those people get united? A person says, the Sunnah is to do this. They say, no, it's okay to make bid'ah. So we can see, as a result, that this is the secret behind the division of the Ummah. Look, you cannot impose or oblige me to follow your innovation, bid'ah. But I can oblige you to follow the Sunnah, in which if we all followed, we'll get united. Okay? And your Sunnah is not obligatory. But, your bid'ah is not obligatory. But my Sunnah, you are ordered to obey it. Okay? You are ordered to obey it. Which is better? Isn't it better to say, let's get united on the Sunnah? Will Allah be asking me, for example, one of the innovations, phenomena of innovation, give me an example today. Mawlid. Mawlidun Nabi. You should be very careful. You should say Mawlid. Never say Milad. No, Milad is different. Milad means the birthday of Jesus. Milad. Milad of Christians, of Jesus. Don't say, when you talk about the Prophet's birthday, say Mawlid, don't say Milad. This is the way purifying the evil, as I mentioned to you before, a while ago. So they want to make distinction by only the utterance of the word. Milad is something, they both are the same, by the way. Milad and Mawlid are the same thing. Mawlid al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did the Prophet do it? Did the companions do it? So why do we do it? Why do we do it? Because we love him, right? Okay, so the companions did not love him. That's why they didn't do it. You have to give me a reason. Why? Why do we do something that the Prophet didn't do? Did he forget? Did he forget? What about the companions? Did they forget? Forget about the companions. Tabi'een. Some people said to me, companions? They saw the Prophet, their eyes was filled seeing the Prophet ﷺ. But as for us, no, we did not see him. That's why we love to make mawlid. Oh yeah, really? What about tabi'een? They loved him more than you. Yet they did not see him. And they loved him more than you. And they did not celebrate. So you have to solve this problem. Did you get the point? Very good. So, if I'll be resurrected at the Day of Judgment, will Allah be asking me, why didn't you celebrate the Mawlid of my Prophet, huh? Why didn't you? I'll be saying, oh Allah, your Prophet didn't do it. Your companions didn't do it. His companions didn't do it, so that's why I didn't do it. But what would be the answer of one who will be asked, why did you do something that the Prophet did not do? What would be his answer? I love him, and the companions loved him, and tabi'een loved him. Why didn't they do it? Your type of love is similar to Christianity. They loved Jesus too much. That's why they celebrate his birthday. ¿Qué pasa? What is the matter? We have to understand. See, what are the things? So, we are Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Okay, Ahlus Sunnah, I understand the meaning of Ahlus Sunnah, but why do we say wal Jama'ah? Because this way of Sunnah is the way to the unity of the congregation, to the Jama'ah. And one person invites for that, he is Jama'ah by himself. He is Jama'ah. Just as Ibrahim was Ummah. Don't you ask yourself this question? How Ibrahim was Ummah? Ummah means nation. And Ibrahim was one, singular. How can a singular become the whole nation? He represents the Jama'ah, the Ummah. There's a surah in the surah called the Al-Anbiya. And Allah, after talking about all Anbiya and their methodology, He said, this is your Ummah. One Ummah. What do you mean one Ummah? If you follow the way of the prophets, you're following this Ummah. Did you understand that? Abdullah Mas'ud was Ummah by himself. So all of us talk about the unity and its importance. But we need to make the steps that lead to it. Okay, I know the doctor will be saying you're sick, but I want you to give me the solution. I want to give me the remedy. Not only to diagnose, my problem, say, you have this and this. Okay, give me the medicine. And I say to you, the medicine that we should be struggling making jihad against those leaders of false cults and sects. Not by fighting, killing, no. Bombing, no. We should be struggling by the word. That's why knowledge, we keep saying, Ya Habibi, Ya Akhwani, knowledge, seeking knowledge is very important. Any of those, those leaders of Dalal, they dedicate students for them. And they send them to you. Answer my question. You believe that Allah is in the height, huh? Well, where was He before that? Yalla, give me answer. Yalla, shuf. See, Wahhabis, you have no answer. That's what they do. You can't give answers. So, your weakness, you're responsible for your weakness because you subjected Islam to look weak. By your laziness, by giving some other things which are not more fruitful, thinking that those are your priorities to improve Islam. No. Seeking knowledge and being able to give answers and to refute evil, that's very important. As for the political leaders, we may not be able to get rid of them. It's difficult. It is difficult. You have difficult way and you have an easier way. Start with what is easier, if you are wise enough. If you're wise enough, start with this. And you know what? If you will be struggling against those kinds of people and you succeed, don't worry. the political problems will be solved for you, because قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ, say, it is you, Allah, the owner of what? The owner of what people owe. مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ, you grant your kingship to whom you will. وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ, and you pull it over from whom you will. وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ, and you honor whom you will. وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ, and you humiliate whom you will. For this, Allah can guarantee it for you. But you improve yourself. Don't leave those people be dominating the society to the extent that you become a minority. And when they become minority, that means the ummah, the general. You know, the Prophet ﷺ was asked by Aisha radiallahu anha, how come the punishment of Allah comes while we're Muslims? He said, Na'am idha kathura al-khabath, when the evil becomes dominant, widespreading more than the good, then the punishment of Allah comes. Did you understand that, brothers? Like, I didn't get to the topic yet. Let's begin and to try to summarize things as much as I can for you. Things are very beneficial, and I'm planning, if the administration here will allow me, to let this subject be given every Thursday for about 1 month, because it's very important. Right. So, all of us talking about the unity of Ummah, the returning to the Tawheed, to the pure Tawheed, as Salaf al-Salih were, is the solution for that. The returning to the Sunnah and avoiding Bid'ah, and to succeed on that, dominating all other people, struggling against them. This is important. The problem, we know the truth, but we're sleeping. We're not struggling against those people. Why? Because we're not seeking knowledge. So why do we have to face them? How can we make any confrontation with them while we have no knowledge? See? So you are the reason behind that. You know what? The enemies of the Muslims, they are so keen to support and revive those cults. Wallahi. Politically, it's better for them. So why don't you do the opposite? Struggling against those cults in order to improve your own politics. Is that understood, brothers? Right. Why they support them? Because what they really know, that it has a great harm against Islam and Muslims. They know it. You wonder, like the Ahmadis. You know how they welcome the Ahmadi leader here when he comes? Huh? He has a great high position, honor here. So when he comes, they even furnish for him the what do you call it, the red carpet. They open the red carpet for him. They have channel here. They have a lot of money. They are so rich. Who's paying? British government. For the sake of Allah. So you have to understand things. Don't sleep. As they think that supporting the cults of evil is politically beneficial for those people, so struggling against them is politically better for us. Think about that. And start to study seriously the matters of Aqidah in order to struggle with those people. Yes, as I was reciting in my prayer, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. Who is better than one who invite people to Allah and work righteously? أُدْعُ إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Invite people to the way of your Lord by the way that is good. So I hope this is understood now. Inshallah. Right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us an important definition about what should be our way. By saying, وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولَ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمَ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. Whoever seeks to oppose the Prophet's way, after the way of guidance have been given clearly to him, it becomes apparent to him, and he follow other way than the way of the Salaf, the believers, his companions, we will let him take the way he's taking for himself, and will let him go to hell. So what is the way? Our way in worship, it should resemble the way of the companions. Number one. Number two, all the people of bid'ah, the sources of their doctrine begins like this: my mind, the book, then the sunnah. My mind, then the book, then the sunnah. Did you understand? The Muslim, the Sunni Muslim, no. He says, the book and the sunnah, then my mind. How can you proceed your mind? What if your mind is kharban? You know the meaning of kharban? What's the meaning of kharban in English? Kharbanation. Corrupted. You have sickness in your mind. And you say, I proceed my mind over the book and the sunnah. The book of Allah, as Allah described it, لا يأتيه, I recited it today also. لا يأتيه الباطل من بين يديه ولا من خلفه. The falsehood doesn't come to this book, neither from its front side, nor from the back side of this Quran. It's surrounded by truthfulness. It is a perfect book that contains no falsehood. But your mind can, the evil can come to your mind from the front, from the back. Yes. And by the way, the minds vary and contradict. My mind disagree with your mind. So what's going to happen to the deen of Allah if we base it on my mind and your mind? The minds differ, correct? My mind disagree with your mind. So my mind and your mind need something to judge too. That's why Allah said, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَىٰ عُقُولِكُمْ No. فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. If you dispute on something, then return what you differ about to Allah and to His Messenger, if you believe in Allah and the hereafter. ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. This is the best. وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا. This is good and it leads to the best consequence. Okay? Very good. Surah Al-Hujurat. What is the first verse in Surah Al-Hujurat? Who can recite it to me, please? يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله. I may call this surah the surah of adab, ethics. And the first ethic is in this first verse. Do not proceed before Allah and His Messenger by an opinion, by something. Don't proceed. It reached to the extent with some cults that they say La ilaha illallah. Continue. La ilaha illallah aqli Rasulullah. My mind is Rasulullah. Because they glorify the mind more than glorifying the book and the sunnah. Those are the Mu'tazila. So didn't the Prophet talk about the division of the Ummah? That will be divided to how many sects and cults? 73. Why? So this is a big issue. that we have to struggle against. We should not leave it. Many of the scholars, they prefer to musayara. What's the meaning of musayara? Do you know the meaning of musayara? Nobody knows the meaning of musayara. No? Musayara. Let's see. Humoring, favoring, compliance with someone's wishes. Compliance, yes, complying. Giving concessions. All right, you know, my family are people of bid'ah. Oh, what shall I do? Just forget about that. I don't want to make my father. I don't want to upset my father and mother. I should be being good to them. You can be good to them, but you should also be so keen that they will not be going to hell. That's why Ibrahim said to his father, "Inni araka wa qawmaka fi dhalalin mubin." Oh my father, I see you and your people are in manifest misguidance, clear misguidance. His righteousness to his father did not stop him from telling him the truth. It's better than, because Azar at the day of judgment will be saying to his son, "Oh my son." Oh, Ibrahim said, "Didn't I tell you to obey me?" "Oh my father, look." He said, "My son, this day I'll obey you. This day." Khalas. What day? The day of judgment. Wallahi, I'll obey you. It's not beneficial anymore. Khalas. The sun turned from the west, raised from the west. Khalas. 3 things by which, if they appear, لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها لم تكن آمنت من قبل أو كسبت في إيمانها خيرا. What does this mean? لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها. There is no soul. لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها لم تكن آمنت من قبل. No soul that will be benefited by Iman when it did not have that Iman in life. That's what Allah said in Surah As-Sajda, I think. Yes, in two ayah, by the way. That's it. Do they wait for anything except that the angels should come to them, or your Lord should come, or that there come some of the signs of your Lord? The day that some of the signs of your Lord will come, no soul will benefit from its faith as long as it had not believed before or had earned through its faith some good. Did you understand that? What are the 3 things? Sun rising from the west. Ad-Dabba. Ad-Dajjal. And there's something personal. When your spirit start to separate the body, there are stingy people who don't like to pay, don't like to donate, don't like to give. But you know, when they feel like giving, they wish to give. They wish to give everything they have. When he goes like that, give this money to those people, give that money, and he's dying. Now you're so keen to donate, huh? While you were treasuring the money before. And not only that, there are people who say, I'm going to deprive this person, that person from inheriting me, and I want to see what's going to happen to him after I die. What? When you die, finish, you're out of this life. What do you expect? We are so sticking to this life too much. Let's get back to the topic. Yeah, what Ibrahim said to his family, to his community. وقال إنما اتخذتم من دون الله أوثانا مودة بينكم في الحياة الدنيا. I love that ayah. Wallahi, I love it. I want you to try to understand it carefully. So beautiful. ثم يوم القيامة يكفر بعضكم ببعض ويلعن بعضكم بعضا ومأواكم النار وما لكم من ناصرين. Ibrahim said to his community, You have only taken other than Allah idols as a bond of affection among you in worldly life. Musayara. I live them. Just like those Christians. Yeah, I disagree with Christianity, but we go every Sunday. All community are together. We like to drink coffee with them in the church. I don't like their belief, but socially I can't leave them. Socially I have to stick to them. I have to be good to my mom and my dad. Look what he's saying to them. Ibrahim, listen to the translation. You have only taken other than Allah idols as bond of affection among you in worldly life. But then, on the day of resurrection, you will deny one another and curse one another, and your refuge will be in the fire, and you will not have any helpers. Now, you're showing courtesy to one another. At the day of judgment, you're going to be cursing one another. Did you understand it? So beautiful. طيب. قواعد أهل السنة. قواعد أهل السنة. The basics of Ahlus Sunnah regarding Allah's names and attributes. Now, first I drink. First, أبواب معرفة الله مسدودة على الخلق جميعا إلا من خلال ما وصف الله به نفسه ووصفه به رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. All the doors about what is Allah, what to know about Allah, all doors are blocked, closed, except one door. The door that comes to us there through from Allah, what we need to know about Him, what He described Himself, and what His Prophet described Him. That's all. You cannot add any suggested attribute to Allah that He did not tell you about it. So the way we should know about Allah, where from? From that door. Up, the upper door. The source is Allah and His Messenger. That's all. But we are troubled by what people call ilmul kalam. Have you heard of ilmul kalam? What do you call it? Philosophy is worse than it. Ilmul kalam is one of the fruits of philosophy. Okay? Yani it's just like saying milk and yogurt. Right? Yeah, it's so close. Ilmul kalam is the way you argue about Allah. You define what is Allah. For example, Ilmul Kalam says that Allah should not be speaking. If He speaks, that means He's speaking one letter after the other. So this next letter needs the previous letter. But Allah doesn't need anything. See? So as a result, Allah doesn't speak. But we have the Quran, the book of Allah. It's the book of Allah, yes. Is it the speech of Allah? Yes. How did Allah speak? According to the Greek philosophic way of understanding how Allah speaks, that Allah speaks in His soul. Then Jibreel, he keeps hearing, listening. Jibreel understood what Allah was speaking in his soul. Then he expressed it by suggested words. So they say, Al-Qur'anu ibaratun an kalamillah. The Quran is the expression of Allah's word. Who expressed it? They don't say Ibarat Jibreel. No, they don't dare to say it. They keep it in secret. Who expressed the Quran? The Asha'ira believe that the Quran was expressed by Jibreel, who understood what's in Allah's soul. But wait a minute, Isa said to Allah, تَعْلَمُ مَا فِي نَفْسِي وَلَا أَعْلَمُ مَا فِي نَفْسِكَ. You know what's in my soul, but I don't know what's in your soul. So the question is, how did Jibreel know what's in the soul of Allah? What are you talking about? They say, wait a minute, wallahi that happened with me. Someone said to me, don't you believe Allah does not speak. Allah creates words and He descends them. He doesn't speak them. He descends them. He creates them and descends them. I said, oh yeah. Okay, you reminded me. That's what the dumb, the akhras, what do you call it? Deaf? The one who cannot speak. Deaf or dumb? Dumb. I said, this is the same way of the dumb. As you say, Allah create words and then He descends them. The dumb does the same thing. He speaks by writing. And then He shows us the writings. He said, yes, exactly. I said, Allahu Akbar. I put you in a big trouble. And he realized that he's making Allah similar to the dumb. This is horrible. And they say Musa understood what Allah said. They don't say Musa heard what Allah said. No. And the Maturidis. Have you heard of the Maturidis? They say Allah created words in the tree. Oh, so please tell me. Now, please, I want you to solve this problem to me. Who dared to say that? Inni ana rabbuk. So the tree was saying to Musa, Inni ana rabbuk. The tree was saying to Musa, I am your Lord. What a rude tree is that? What a nasty tree is that? How dare the tree speaks and says, I am your Lord? Is there any creature that can say, I am the Lord, I am Allah? Fir'aun said it. Huh? Ana rabbukum al-a'la. And the Sufis, when they become, maybe because of hash, then they go like that. Ana Allah, Ana Allah, Ana Allah, Ana Allah. They say, I am Allah. And you know what people say? Shh, don't criticize them. Don't blame them. They reach to such a high rank with Allah. Now they don't know what to say. Wallahi. Then why the Prophet didn't do that? Why this didn't happen to the Prophet? The Prophet was a better worshipper than those people. Did he reach to that high level? Some Sufis, they used to do that. They make halaqah and they turn off the light after Fajr and they go like this. They hold hands. Men and women together. And they start saying, Allah, Allah. So one guy said to the other one, where we are now? Did we reach to the throne of Allah or not? Not yet. He said, well, we're still in the kitchen. We're still in the kitchen. What are you talking about? So, knowing what Allah should be and what not should be is confined to that door where the Prophet Muhammad received the revelation from. That's all. If you're not happy with it, try to find other source for you. So those Greek Ilmul Kalam, they say Allah should not speak. Fine. What else? He should not move. If he moved, that means he filled a space. There's something greater than him. See? So Allah should not be like this. So he shouldn't speak. No. Right? He shouldn't talk. Okay, what else? What about being over his throne, as he said? A'udhu billah. Over his throne? That means he's over the place. That's why they say to you, Allah is existed without place. Have you heard of that? Nasty word. Allah is existed without place. The question, who existed him? Because they say he is existed. That means he was brought to being. Who brought him to being? Why do you use these nasty words? They say it's haram to say Allah is over the place. Why not? Is the throne place or time? No. Either the throne is time or place. Take your choice. Is the throne place or time? Is the throne, the throne?
Yeah, place.
Place or time? No, either it's place or time.
Place.
And Allah is over the place. See, the problem is with this. Comparing the seen to the unseen. Comparing the seen to the unseen. For example, they say to you, you should not believe that Allah is over the throne and He's over it. That means if He if he's over the throne, that means he's like us. Just like the king here being over his throne. So they start to compare what is seen to the unseen. And the problem is there. The problem is there. My question is the iron body or not? It's a body. The iron. The carpet. The wood. Is the wood body or not? Is this body or not? Is this body or spirit? Don't tell me you don't differentiate between spirit and body in this. Is this body or spirit? It's a body. And the bodies differ. Don't we call the air body or not? The water is body or not? So the bodies differ. And those bodies are created beings. So if I say that the water is body, I'm not making the water similar to this. Get my point? So, if I say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hand, I'm not making Allah similar to my hand. Do we have, is there a door here? Door? No? Does the door have hand? Yes? Okay, I'll bargain with you. I'll put L and E. So it become handle. But don't forget the first four letters. Hand. Right? Well, that's my hand. And there's a hand of the door. Do they look alike now? They don't look alike. So how much more? If Allah has hand and I have hand, I'm not making the hand of Allah similar to my hand. So the problem is there. By comparing what you see, comparing it to what you don't see. And making them similar. That's why those people said, oh, no. We don't believe in these attributes of Allah. Otherwise we'll be making Allah similar to His creatures. No. Did you get the point, brothers? Very good. So the first thing is all doors about knowing Allah's names and attributes are confined to that access from heaven, from Allah. Second, can you correct me this ayah, please? هو السميع البصير وليس كمثله شيء. Am I correct? I'll repeat the ayah. Please be with me. هو السميع البصير وليس كمثله شيء. Is that correct? So what is the correct then? ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. The problem of those people, they reverse the ayah. That's why they did not put in mind ليس كمثله شيء. So whenever I say to them that Allah is over the throne or He's in the height, they start to make what? Comparison. Don't make the comparison. Think about ليس كمثله شيء, then prove, affirm, confirm the attribute of Allah. Because Allah, this is how Allah began. And we begin by what Allah began with. So He said, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. It drives out the whisperings of the devil. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Then your mind is ready to affirm all the attributes of Allah. Did you understand it? That's a very important rule. Some people say to me, Allah لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. So I go like, continue the ayah. Don't cut it. He said, what? Continue the ayah. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirmed to Himself that He is Basir, He's all-seeing and all-hearing. He say, he goes like, I have a problem with the Sami' Basir. Yani that means He has eye and ear. Wait a minute. I can say Sami' Basir means Alim. He's all-knowing. MashaAllah. That's philosophy. So how can you give an answer to that? Can you give an answer to this? Give me an answer. What?
This Sami' Basir, it's not like, it's like He's It's not. It's something separate though.
I deliberately shocked you with it because I want you guys to be fast in giving answers. That's why knowledge is important. There's another ayah, وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. So now we have additional سميع, and beside it what? عليم. صح? طيب. If they say, it's better to say that Sami Basir means Alim. Wait a minute. Alim is the one who has knowledge, right? Okay? But also you're making Allah similar to His creatures. You know why? Because if I'm Alim, a person of knowledge, that means I have brain. So that means you're making Allah similar to His creatures and believing that Allah has brain as well. You see, these people, they end with, the result of what they do is to confuse, and that's all. Just confusing. There's no result. There's no benefit. Like, that is why Imam Ghazali, have you heard of Ghazali? Al-Ghazali. He was indulging in ilm al-kalam too much. And finally he said, hey brother, take my advice. Take the advice from one who became really highly expert in ilm al-kalam. And he hated it and he abandoned it because of what he saw of the evil consequences that it caused. Division, even killing, charging people with kufr, just like what's happening nowadays. That's why Ghazali wrote a book 14 days before he died. It's called Iljamul Awam. Holding the layman people. An ilmul kalam, from learning ilmul kalam, this philosophy. He said, I suffered disease in my heart, but I did not find any remedy in ilmul kalam regarding the suffer I used to feel in my heart. It did not benefit me anything. That's why I left it. So that is a benefit, don't forget that. The doctrine of Ahlus Sunnah, it has no vagueness or unclear points. It's always clear, pure and clear. Aqidat Ahlus Sunnah, pure and clear. Contains no complexions imported from philosophy. No, we don't have all of that. But ilm al-kalam was spreaded at the time of Shafi'i, at the time of Malik, at the time of Abu Hanifa, at the time of Ahmad, and they all agreed on criticizing this and considering it to be a matter of bid'ah. Not only that, but Shafi'i said, my fatwa regarding those who learn ilm al-kalam, that they should be beaten up by the branches of the palm trees, beaten up. And people should say this is the punishment of those who seek any ilm of bid'ah other than what Allah taught us and what His Messenger taught us. The point is that this ilm al-kalam is based on denying the attributes of Allah. It's based on that. Denying the attributes of Allah. While the Quran is full of proving the attributes of Allah, which those people are not happy with. Let me give you quick exploring about what had been mentioned in the Quran among Allah's attributes. وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. Allah have spoken to Musa taklima. Takliman means, we call that in Arabic, تأكيد الفعل بالمصدر. Taklima means, there is no doubt that this speech was real speech to Musa. وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. Allah said to Musa, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى. Oh, by the way, those people, they believe that the speech of Allah is eternal. It has no beginning, it has no end. As the actions of Allah, the deeds of Allah are eternal. It has no beginning, it has no... If they say that, I made many debates about that, and I said, oh, mashallah, I didn't know that I'm eternal. He said, no, you're not. I said, but Allah created me by His deeds, right? He said, yes. And you believe that Allah's deeds are eternal. He said, yes. I said, so I'm eternal. Because He created me from no beginning and no end. So I'm eternal. They have to say that Allah's deeds is something that under His will He create in a time. Done? Finish? Not yet? Yeah. That Allah creates in time, in different times. That's why how Allah created me. Either you say that Allah creates in different times. They say, oh, you believe that Allah is subjected to the time, huh? How Allah is subjected to the time? So I was saying, I don't want to complicate you, but I gave him that answer. I said, when did the time begin? So the time needs another time to begin in. He said, what? You're confusing me. I said, no. Stop thinking about these things, because the confusion came to you because of those important foreign knowledge, Greek philosophy. Leave it and don't follow it. Right. Let's explore. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so Allah said to Musa, what is the thing in your hand, O Musa, right? If they say that Allah speaks eternally, that means even before Musa was created, before Allah created the whole world, He keeps saying, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى, eternally. And Musa died, and Allah still says to him, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى. What is that? I want you to understand the dangerous doctrine that those people have. It's dangerous. And the enemies of Islam keep supporting those people who invite the Muslims to revive this Ilm al-Kalam. One of them is a very rude person. His name is Suhaib Saeed in Edinburgh. They're using him just to do that, to spread Ilm, to revive it. To revive Ilm al-Kalam. And he's making a lot of courses, day and night, to let this ilm be distributed among the youngsters, the young boys, the young Muslims. So Allah is over His throne. Is that what Allah said in the Quran? Allah is over the height. أَأَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ? Is it in the Quran or not? مِنَ اللَّهِ ذِي الْمَعَارِجِ تَعْرُجُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ إِلَيْهِ. The angels go up to Allah. يَخَافُونَ رَبَّهُمْ مِنْ فَوْقِهِمْ. They fear Allah who is over them. Allah has two hands. مَا مَنَعَكَ أَن تَسْجُدَ لِمَا خَلَقْتُ بِيَدَيْ وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا قَبْضَتُهُ. The whole earth is caught by the hand of Allah. It is in Sahih Bukhari that a Jewish person came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, we Jewish people used to believe, O Prophet, that the heavens are in one finger of Allah, the earth are in the hands, one finger of Allah, the trees, the mountains are in another finger of Allah. The Prophet smiled and he said, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. They did not really value Allah as should be valued. Some people say, see what the Prophet said? That means the Prophet was angry with what the Jewish guy was saying. No. If the Prophet was angry with him, he would have said something clear that you should not believe it. Not only to smile, that's all. Only to smile. So here Allah is saying that the earth is the feast of Allah, that Allah catch it with His hand. It's in the Quran. وَالْأَرْضُ جَمِيعًا قَبْضَتُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتُ مَطْوِيَّاتٌ بِيَمِينِهِ. And all the heavens are folded by Allah's hand. Where's that? In the Quran. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the people at the day of judgment will be seeing Allah. وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَى رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. To its Lord, it's looking. The people of Jannah, they're looking at Allah at the Day of Judgment. Looking at Him. So it doesn't seem that there is a unity or accordance between the Quran and this ilm al-kalam. But Allah described Himself with this. There's a very important thing here. What Allah describes Himself with, is it a perfect attribute or imperfect? If you believe that it's perfect, then Allah describing Himself that He is in as-sama, is He praising Himself with a perfect description, or it's not praising to Allah? Please listen. I want to see your answers. Allah does not describe Himself but with perfect description. صح? And when He describes Himself, He's praising Himself. The evidence. Do you remember this dua? وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْكَ. Continue. لَا أُحْصِي ثَنَاءً عَلَيْكَ أَنْتَ كَمَا أثنيت على نفسك. I cannot count the uncountable attributes that you deserve, that you praised yourself with. So the Prophet said that is telling us that what Allah described Himself, He's praising Himself with these descriptions. So why do you feel bad? Why there's something wrong in your heart against what Allah described Himself? Why do you have something wrong against what Allah said that He's over His throne? They try to rumble here. I'll show you. I'll tell you what is their way, the tactics they use. استوى على العرش. Yeah. It means استولى على العرش. استولى. You know something of استولى? Is anyone who speaks Arabic here among you? استولى, what's the meaning of استولى? Huh? Overtake. Invaded. Overtake. But Allah is telling us that He created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then He overtook the Arsh. So before that He was not overtaking the Arsh. So the Arsh was under the control of who? Who was controlling the Arsh before Allah creating the heavens and the earth in 6 days? Did you understand that? Who? It's a problem. Then some of them they say غلب العرش. غلب يعني He was victorious over the Arsh. Some they say Allah is describing Himself to tell us that He is in a higher honor than the Arsh. Also Allah is comparing Himself to the throne. So Allah is telling us that He is better than the throne. The throne is high, but Allah is higher than the throne. What are you talking about? This is stupid. They're twisting. And by the way, this is the attitude of the Jews. أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله. A part of the Jews, they used to be hearing Allah. Then they understand what Allah revealed. Then they twist it after they understood the right meaning of it. Ibn Abbas said, no one can remove the words of Allah, but they make tahrif to the words of Allah by twisting their meaning. And this is the tahrif of the Jews. Most of the tahrif of the Jews is to twist the meanings, give it another meaning. طيب. So Allah knows what He deserves more than me and you. More than those Greek people. Maybe those philosophers did not make even one sajda to Allah. How can they make rules about Allah? What should He be and what shouldn't He be? You see, the problem of philosophy, you don't know what happened before Islam. Philosophy used to be the dominant over all kinds of knowledges. You want physics? Under philosophy. You want chemistry? Under philosophy. What do you want? Anything. Sociality, social knowledge? Under philosophy. Everything under philosophy. And metaphysics, theological issues should be under philosophy. And philosophy suggested these rulings about Allah. What He should be, what He shouldn't be. Wallahi, I read by my eyes the words of Arstu saying that Al-Khaliq muharrik wa la yataharrak. He is the mover of the creation, but He does not move by Himself. Yet He is statue. And He should not be speaking. But what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about Ibrahim. You remember what Ibrahim said when he destroyed the idols one by one? Then they said, who did it? Ibrahim said, maybe this one, the bigger one among them. Ask them if they speak. If they speak. And they returned to themselves, they said, لَقَدْ عَلِمْتَ مَا هَؤُلَاءِ يَنْطِقُونَ. They spoke to one another. We know well that those idols don't speak. So, also the ajl, the calf of the people of the Jews, Israel. Do you remember that? وَاتَّخَذَ قَوْمُ مُوسَى مِنْ بَعْدِهِ مِنْ حَلِيِّهِمْ عَجْلًا جَسَدًا لَهُ خُوَارٍ. They took a calf for them, okay? It has a hole, a golden calf. It has a hole here, and when the wind passes, it whistles, make a sound. Then Allah said, أَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّهُ لَا يُكَلِّمُهُمْ. Don't they see that He does not speak to them? So our God is supposed to be what? Speaking. But those people say, no, it's haram to believe that Allah speaks. This is very strange. How He speaks? No. Allah speaks in His soul. Then Jibreel converts these by what? By words. That's why one scholar called Ibn Qudama, whenever he walks and an Ash'ari scholar passes by, so the Ash'ari scholar said to him, Salaam alaikum. But this Ibn Qudama, he's Hanbali. And Hanbalis are considered to be what? Most extreme. That's why if they want to classify the communists, they say this communist is Hanbali. But that other communist is not Hanbali. That means this is extremist communist, and the other one is not as... What is that? So, Al-Baqillani was passing by Ibn Qudama. When they meet, Al-Baqillani says to Ibn Qudama, Assalamu alaikum. But Ibn Qudama does not respond. Then he sent someone, he said to him, please try to know from why when I say Assalamu alaikum, he doesn't respond to me. He went to him. And Ibn Qudama said, he believed in al-kalam al-nafsi, the speech of the soul, and I'm responding his salam in my soul. هو يؤمن بالكلام النفسي وأنا أرد عليه في نفسي. Can you imagine? When we use the word takallam, we're talking about nutq, utterance. Okay, for example, I'm going to speak in my soul now, okay? And I'll tell you what I'm saying in my soul. You know what I said in my soul? My wife is divorced. Does the divorce take place? I'm speaking my soul, I said my wife is divorced. She will not be divorced because I'm not speaking it. Okay. I'm going to do something that you all guys do in your prayer. My vacation, I'm speaking. Now I'm telling you what I was thinking about. My vacation will be next week, for example. Oh, I miss my children. I was speaking my soul. Does that spoil invalidate my prayer? Does this? It's bad, okay? But does this invalidate my prayer? No. Okay. If I say Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillah as-salihin, is that okay? Does it invalidate my prayer? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, it doesn't. In tashahhud you say Assalamu ala nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayna wa ala. The Prophet said, if you say that, no mu'min on earth but your salam will be reaching him. Now, but if somebody passed by and he said, Sheikh Dimashqiah, Assalamu alaikum, while I'm praying. If I say, Wa alaikum assalam, does this invalidate my prayer?
Yes.
This is what that shows the trick they make about Allah. They say Allah spoke in Himself. Okay, were you witness? And I don't mind that. But please show me in the Quran that this is a matter of the unseen. How do you make such details about something you're not witness to? You're not witness. أَمْ خَلَقْنَا الْمَلَائِكَةَ وَهُمْ شَاهِدُونَ. Allah said, oh, did we create the angels while they were witnessing? And that's what we say also to those Asha'ira. Did Jibreel understand what's in the soul of Allah while you were witnessing? So where did you get that? Did the Prophet Muhammad say to you that this is the way? We know that Jibreel is muballigh. Jibreel is a conveyor. He's not a converter from soul speech to tongue speech. What's the matter with you guys? طيب. Twisting the meaning, they look, there's a word called ta'wil. Have you heard of the word ta'wil? Okay, what's the meaning of ta'wil? False interpretation. Who said tafsir? Correct. What you said is wrong. No harm feelings. No offense. Jazakallah khair. You see, what you said, you heard it maybe from some of them. Because maybe you were facing them and they say, why do you make ta'wil in this ayah but you don't make ta'wil to that ayah? Did you hear that? Some people saying that. Don't make ta'wil, but make ta'wil here. Okay. Those people had twisted the meaning of the word ta'wil. The word ta'wil in the Quran has two meanings only, no third. Tafsir, as the people of Yusuf said, قالوا أضغاث أحلام وما نحن بتأويل الأحلام بعالمين. We have no interpretation of the dreams. We don't know the interpretation of dreams. So, ta'wil means interpretation. Also, another meaning of ta'wil is the consequence, the fulfillment of what Allah told about. هل ينظرون إلا تأويله? Don't they wait nothing for nothing but that what Allah told about will be fulfilled? So fulfillment and interpretation. Only two meanings. That's all. There's no third. Got it? Okay. Now, they twisted the word ta'wil in order to make another twisting. What's the meaning of ta'wil to them? Dismissing the direct meaning of the word, looking for an indirect meaning of the word, which is possible, which is believed to be possible, not for sure, not definitely, but possible meaning. That's the meaning of ta'wil to them. And by this they can say to you, oh, give me this ayah, it has ta'wil. I can look for an indirect meaning for it. But when the Prophet said, when he made dua to Ibn Abbas, what did he say? Allahumma faqihhu fi ad-din wa 'allimhu at-ta'wil. Oh Allah, make him understanding of religion and teach him the ta'wil, interpretation of the Quran. Now, so firstly the word ta'wil was twisted. Then after that they can twist anything they want after twisting the word ta'wil itself. You have to be careful about that. Every cult and sect, they had to import this Greek philosophy to use it to pretend to people that they are defending deen by arguing. That's why they call it the argumentative sort of knowledge. They argue. And that caused a big division in Christianity. And they were so happy at the early time of the Abbasid Khilafah leadership to translate all of those philosophical books. And the tragedy was there. After those books were translated, we had Jahmiyyah, we had Mu'tazila, And we have Abadiyya. We have many cults and sects because of translating these philosophical books. And until today, we still have this headache. Until today. People were about to leave Christianity, but when they brought this philosophy, they started to argue and trying to show the people that they have good argument in faith and religion. There are two ways of those people to reject Allah's attributes in the Quran. First, if you bring them an ayah from the Quran, they say, we can make ta'weel for that, we can give it a meaning. Second, if it's in the Sunnah, they would say, oh, this hadith is not mutawatir, it's ahad. Have you heard of this argument? Ahad. What's the meaning of ahad? Narrated by one, not one. Ahad doesn't mean necessarily one. One or two or three, it does not reach maybe 10 or 20. But most of the books of hadith, especially Bukhari and Muslim, do not contain mutawatir except very little. Many scholars like Ibn Salah, he said, I don't know any mutawatir hadith except one hadith. Man kadhaba alayya muta'ammidan, whoever lied against me deliberately. He said, this is the only mutawatir hadith. So the mutawatir of the hadith are very rare. And if we say that, we don't take the hadith unless it's mutawatir, then we're not going to be taking any hadith. It's a tragedy. It's a problem. طيب. Now, this rule is very important. The Ash'aris, they believe in 7 attributes that they should not make ta'weel for it. 7 only. Al-ilm, al-qudra, al-sam', al-basar, al-hayat, what else? Al-kalam. There are 7. 7 attributes. Life of Allah, power of Allah, speech of Allah, the hearing of Allah, the sight of Allah, etc. 7 attributes. But all of those 7 attributes are the same attributes that we are described with. Sama'. Do I have sama' or not? Don't you have sama'? Basar, kalam, qudra, power, hayat, life, ilm. Don't you have ilm? So why didn't you make ta'weel to those? They said, no, those should not be made ta'weel with. Why didn't you imagine any similarity? Because those attributes are the same that we use for ourselves. So either you deny all attributes, or you affirm all attributes, or you'll be contradicting yourself. This rule is very important. Did you get it? Okay. We have the Jahmiyyah. Jahmiyyah are the people belong to a person called Jahm bin Safwan. He is the one who firstly started to say, Allah did not speak to Musa, and He did not take Ibrahim as Khalil. That's why he was killed. And he became doubtful to Allah when some ancient communists, you know, the ancient communists used to be Indians. They used to be called As-Sumnaniyya. As-Sumnaniyya, Ta'if As-Sumnaniyya. They used to be communists. They said to him, we don't believe in anything but in a physical being. Where's your God? So he had trouble. He did not pray. For 40 days he did not pray to Allah. He was confused. Then he came to the conclusion that Allah is the absolute existence. Mutlaq, wujud mutlaq. Absolute existence. This is a problem. طيب. What about Mu'tazila? Mu'tazila, they affirmed the names of Allah, but they emptied the names of Allah from the attributes. For example, Allah, one of the names of Allah is what? Ar-Rahim. Is that right? Does it consist attribute or not?
Yes.
They said those are mere names. They're not attributes. So the way to corner them is to say to them, does Allah have mercy? Does this Rahim Allah has mercy? Does this merciful Allah has mercy or not? If they say He has mercy, they prove to Allah that this is an attribute. If they said no, this is a tragedy. It's kufr. That's why they said Allah is Alim without ilm, Sami' without Sam', Basir without basar. One of the guys, Mu'tazili guys, were saying that to me. And I said to him, and you are Hakim without hikmah. You are wise without wisdom. You are Alim without ilm. Yeah, that means you're Jahil. And they keep going saying like that. Allah is not like the tree. Allah is not like that. Allah is not like His creatures. Allah is not like the leaf. Allah has no body. Allah has no taste. Allah has no smell. Allah has no. Their methodology is this. Allah has not, is not, Allah is not, Allah is not. I say, if you go to a king and you say to him, you want to praise him, this is not praising to Allah if you say Allah is not. If you go to a king and you say to him, Mr. King, you are not stupid. You are not rubbish. Huh? You are not mentally retarded. You, Mr. King, you're not mentally retarded. Are you praising the king? Wait until the king will put you in jail and do something to you. Huh? Because you claim that you're praising him, but in matter of fact, you're insulting him. So when people keep saying Allah is not, they're not praising him. Praising him is to affirm what he described himself. This is praising Allah. Bye. When those people realized that the Imams, Shafi'i, Ahmad, Ibn Hanbal, Abu Hanifa, Malik, all of those scholars agree that Ilm al-Kalam is haram, they did something new. Do you remember when they say that there's good bid'ah and there's bad bid'ah? Is that right? They did the same thing regarding the Ilm al-Kalam. They said there is Sunni Ilm al-Kalam and Bid'i Ilm al-Kalam. Okay. If there's Sunni Ilm al-Kalam, why as Shafi'i did not guide us to it? Why didn't he say, watch out, there's a good Ilm al-Kalam? Why didn't he say, why he mentioned it, yani absolutely haram? Why he generalized it? Yani, he said that all of it is haram. Why didn't he say there is a part of it is good and there's a part of it is bad? Why didn't he? What is worse is that they called this Ilm al-Kalam Ilm al-Tawheed. Now, the books that are even translated books into English, they call Ilm al-Kalam Ilm al-Tawheed. What is that Ilm al-Tawheed? Ilm al-Tawheed proves, Ilm al-Kalam proves that Allah is existed. Okay? Allah is existed. Oh yeah? That doesn't make any difference. Abu Jahl used to believe that Allah has existed. The devil believed that Allah has existed. We don't use the word, by the way, we don't use the word existed. Because Allah is the exister. Al-Wajid. Al-Majid. We don't say, if somebody said to you Allah has existed, say to him, don't use that word. Allah did not describe himself with this. Okay? So they end by this. They say to you that Ilm al-Tawheed, Ilm al-Kalam means to signify the eternal from the created being. What is that? That is nonsense. People naturally, they know that. Naturally, they know that. What is Tawheed? Listen to this definition. Unifying Allah by your actions. Tawheed Allah bi af'al al-ibad. Proving, going to Allah alone in your worship by your actions. Your actions of worship should be going directly, purely to Him. This is how you prove that this is the Tawheed. What is the subject of the Tawheed in the Quran? Allah said, فَإِذَا رَكِبُوا فِي الْفُلْكِ when they ever join the board, the ship, دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين. They supplicate Allah alone, making their deen purely to Him. فَلَمَّا نَجَّاهُمْ إِلَى الْبَرِّ. But when He saves them into the land, they return to their shirk. That's the tawheed of the Quran. That is why the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah said in the Quran, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. You know, they call us mushabbih. That means I'm taking nid, one similar to Allah. Wait. What does this mean? Don't make similar beings to Allah. فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا while you know it. Ibn Abbas said, Al-andadu al-ashbah. Those who you make them similar to Allah, those are the equals, making them equal to Allah. This is tashbih. And when you ask the dead people, Sidi Abdul Qadir Jilani, Sidi Ahmad al-Rifai, etc., etc., this is making those people equal to Allah. This is tashbih. Those are the mujassima, those are the mushabbiha in a matter of fact. طيب. We come to those philosophers who do not, who deny all Allah's attributes. Like Ibn Sina. Have you heard of Ibn Sina? Ibn Sina says, no attributes to Allah. We shouldn't believe it. Why? Because they believe that if we prove an attribute to Allah, for example, هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن. They say, wait. That means one God, two gods, three gods, four gods, five gods. Every attribute means a being, a person being. What? So they're considering the attribute to be a person. That's why they denied all the attributes. Which is not true. So, how can we rebuttal those people? We say to them, you must believe in at least even... Look, you can't say that Allah has no attributes. Otherwise, you're worshipping a stealth. Shabah, ghost. In matter of fact. You must believe that Allah... Is Allah good or bad? They say, no, Allah is good. Thank you. You attributed Allah that He is good. And every attribute must be held, okay, by a what? By a body. So now you believe that Allah is body. There's no attribute, but should be held, lifted by a body. Is that right? This water is soft. Do you use the word soft for nobody? There's a body here. So you must attribute Allah with any attribute. You must. So you'll be falling in the same trap that you're trying to let me fall in. You have no way out of that. Look what At-Taftazani is, one of the Ash'ari people. He's Maturidi Ash'ari. He said, let me ask this question. Listen to what he said. If the true religion is to deny the direction, that means we should not say that Allah is in a certain direction. Okay? What is the matter with the divine books, the books of Allah? They contain a lot of, and the hadith, book and the hadith, it has a lot of attributes attributing Allah that Allah is, He goes down to the lowest heaven, that He went over His throne, that He has hands. Why do we have all of those attributes of Allah in the Quran, but we don't find any ayah in the Quran urging us to deny this? He's making confession that those people have problem themselves, that the Quran doesn't go with them. Look what he said. He said, the answer is that since exalting Allah over direction, etc., is something that layman people don't understand, so Allah was using these words that He has hands, that He is over His throne, that He goes down to the lowest heaven, the sky at the last part of the night. He's using these as metaphorical words to make people understand. But if Allah denied those attributes, people will be disbelieving. So Allah is making a lie. That's what it ends with him. Those people are, in a matter of fact, falling in a great, great error. Now, quickly. So the Ash'ari may quote to you Al-Ghazali. Imam Ghazali said he's Ash'ari. Oh yeah. Don't you know that he repented from this Ash'ari way and he wrote a book against Ilm al-Kalam? Why don't you mention this? Who else? Al-Razi. He is the worst Ash'ari. But at the moment of his death, before he died, he declared tawbah from that. And Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, in his book Fath al-Bari, the interpretation of Sahih Bukhari, he affirmed it, that he made a tawbah from that. Who else? Al-Razi, he repented. Al-Razi is the second. Who else? Al-Juwayni, he repented. Who else? Al-Baqillani, he repented. Those highest Ash'ari scholars, they repented from that way. And you come here cheating us, saying to us, Imam Ghazali said, Imam Juwayni said, Imam Razi said, Imam Baqillani said. All of those people had repented. Not only those, but even their first leader, Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari. Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, they say that he belonged to the family of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, in his genealogy. Okay? It renders to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. And the Prophet said that you should take your religion from those sons of this man, from the tribe of this man. They try to make a link to tell you that we are Ash'ara because the Prophet praised Abu Musa al-Ash'ari and Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari is his grandson. They try to make that link to deceive you. Now, prepare for the shock. Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari remained Mu'tazili for 40 years. And his teacher was his stepfather, Abu Ali al-Jubba'i. And what do you know about Abu Ali al-Jubba'i? He was the strongest, the hardest core Mu'tazili. So if Allah want us to take religion from Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, why Allah kept him 40 years deluded, misguided? Why? 40 years. So the Mu'tazilis have the right to say, MashaAllah, we have Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, and the Prophet said, follow the Ash'ari, the Ash'ari family. So now he's with us 40 years, so we're right. Did you get the point? 40 years, and then what happened? I repent from Ilm al-Kalam, from this way, from Mu'tazila. No. And I follow Imam Ahmad. He is the leader of guidance. He is the person that we should be taking him as a good model for us. That's what Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari said. And he wrote a book called Al-Ibana an Usul al-Diyana. Repenting. Look, you say we're Ash'aris. The first person whom you call your cult, taking his name for your cult, he repented. So, what is Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari now? He's Hanbali. This ignorance caused people to use someone's name for their false cult, yet they don't know that he even himself opposed them. Just like Christianity, they follow who? They follow his name, but do they follow his teachings? No. That's the point. I'm not going to take much of your time. It's a long subject, and it requires 4 or 5 or even more. These things are important, and I don't think someone will be able to give you all of these details in English, in which you need much. The last point is, they say we can make ta'weel. Allah stawa al-arsh means stawla. What about Allah is in the height in the heaven? Amintum man? Amintum man fi sama? No problem, we can find a way for that, no problem. That means his honor is up. Oh yeah. But Allah said to Isa, Ya Isa, inni mutawaffika wa rafi'uka ilay. Oh Isa, I'm accomplishing your mission and I'm taking you up to me. So if up means up in honor, that means Allah is saying to Isa, I am taking you up to my honor, you will be having the same equal honor that I have. Did you get the point? Another point. The Prophet said that at the last part of the night, Allah goes down to the lowest, what? So if up means honor, so if he goes down, his honor what? Went down. See, I want to show you the bad consequence of twisting the meanings of those people. But by the way, and this is a very important point I want to end with. I know you guys are sleepy. Are you sleepy? Are you with me? Make sure you're with me, because if you're not with me, that means you're against me. Fine. We ask those people, is ta'wil possibly taken or definitely taken? If they say definitely taken, tell them Sheikh Dimashqiah says to you are liars. Why? Because the Ash'ari scholars, they confessed that the ta'wil they make is taken possibly. It's a possible thing, not definitely taken. Who said that? Bayjuri. In his book Tuhfatul Murid, which is a well-known Ash'ari Maturidi book. And even they teach it in Al-Azhar in Egypt. In this book, Tuhfatul Murid, Sharh Jawharat al-Tawheed, page 91. What did he say? He said the way of Salaf, Aslam, yani more safe. Thank you for saying the way of the Salaf is more safe. Alhamdulillah, we want to follow the safety. We don't want your way because it jeopardizes us and cause us to go to hell. So thank you for saying that the way of the Salaf is Aslam, is more safe. But this is another point. Wait. He's explaining why the way of Salaf is more safe. Because, he said, because لسلامتها من تعيين معنى قد لا يكون مرادا لله. Because it's been saved from assigning a meaning which may not be agreeing with what Allah means. Did you understand me or not yet? I'll explain that to you. Why the way of the Salaf is safe? Because they saved themselves from giving meanings which may not be meeting the meanings Allah intended. Did you understand now or not? So he's telling us that the meanings they give about istawa, he's in the sama, he went down to the lowest heaven, etc. He comes at the day of judgment, he speaks. The meanings they give, they are dhanniya. What's the meaning of dhanni? Doubtful. Not definite. Possible. So he's saying that if we do that, in matter of fact, we're taking risk. It may not be meant by Allah the same thing. So we'll be in trouble. So the way of the Salaf is more safe than our way. He's confessing. He's giving you confession here. Thank him for that. So what does this mean? That their ta'wil is possible. Is not definite. Okay? Let's see. What also said? Maturidi himself, in his book At-Tawheed, and I have this book. He said, we do not claim definitely that the meaning we gave may be approved by Allah. But possibly, we say it's possible. So why do you force us to accept your ta'wil? At the same time you say it's possible? Why do you make this possible obligatory on us? This is dictatorship. Those people are dictators at the same time. Minor dictators. Tiny. You know the chicks dictators. They compel us, oblige us, dictate on us to accept their possibilities. Why? We don't want it. And also Ghazali said, the meaning of the word ta'wil, ترجيح أحد المحتملات, overwhelming one of the two possibilities. بدون القطع على الله, without definitely claiming that this is what Allah meant. Where did he say that? The book of Tawheed, page 74, format 3D. إتحاف السادة المتقين, the Az-Zabidi in his interpretation book of Ihya Ulum al-Din, volume 4, page 535, he said what I said to you. Al-Kawthari, a very enemy person to the Sunnah, who used to be the Mufti of the Uthmani Caliphate. Very aggressive person. But look what he said here in his book. Page 74, the commentary of Kawthari over the book called دفع شبه التشبيه. Look what he said. لم يقدر أحد من مؤولي الصفات أن يقول إن هذا التأويل هو مراد الله. No one among those who made ta'wil to the attributes of Allah, no one would ever claim that Allah meant what He wanted the same meaning that we gave. But it is possible. That's why اختار المحققون عدم تعيين التأويل. That's why certain scholars, many scholars, they decided not to take these kinds of twisted ta'wils. As a result, brothers, this ta'wil is possible, is not definite. That's why if they give you some, they say that Amintum of Sama, it means that His Highness is, tell him, is this ta'wil definite or possible? And here he'll fall in the problem. Especially when he says, I don't take mutawatir but I take ahad. I don't take ahad but I take mutawatir. Why? You know, because ahad is possible. And your ta'wil is possible as well. You contradictory guys. Did you get the point? You want something more, or that's enough for tonight? It's enough for tonight. Because I know that the mind cannot bear, and the mind will be blocked. But alhamdulillah, not my mind. Alhamdulillah, I lived with these issues. So my mind doesn't get blocked with these things. I got used to it. It's such a poison that just like, people in Africa, they keep drinking the poison of the snake gradually. So if they were bit by the snake, that will not be causing them death because they got used to the poison. So inshallah, I would love to continue this subject. If possible, next week, Sheikh AbdulRahman. Is it possible, or you have? Are you ready for that? Inshallah. طيب, Jazakallah khairan. For the time being, do you have any question before I go? Yes, brother.
What do you think about studying Al-Azhar?
If you know that this is a poison, if you know that this is a poison, Ilm al-Kalam is poison, and no one should be saying, oh, he's criticizing Al-Azhar. Who are you to criticize Al-Azhar? I should say to them, who are you to oppose al-Shafi'i when he criticized Ilm al-Kalam, and you're teaching Ilm al-Kalam in Al-Azhar nowadays? If you know these things perfectly, and you feel safe from falling in this poison, and you need this certificate, okay? And you have no other way. You cannot take an airplane to Medina or to Mecca, but it has to be to Cairo. You have no other means. And you know that this is wrong, then take the risk. It's wrong to study, such a study based on Ilm al-Kalam. It's wrong. But despite my respect to the scholars there, to the people there, that's another issue. But when their religious teaching is based on Ilm al-Kalam, it's wrong. Who said that? Not me. Al-Shafi'i, Abu Hanifa, Ahmad, and Malik.
Advise someone to go study Azhar.
If there's a better way, no. If there's no other way, and he knows that this is wrong, but he needs this paper, letter D, tak, D dot, he needs it, there's no other way, what should we do? Okay?
So the same thing for even Kulliyat al-Sharia and Ism, because that Kulliyah I don't think it's very little Aqeedah in that degree.
Anything, Sheikh. Sheikh, any place, any institute of study, religious study based on Ilm al-Kalam, you know that they're taken from Ilm al-Kalam, okay? So keep yourself away from it. without naming specific institutes. Any other question? Yes, ma'am. Salam.
Some Ash'ari, they say Imam al-Nawawi and Hajar al-Asqalani, and they quote a long list of the previous ulama who they claim to be Ash'ari.
And Nawawi himself, in one of his books, he quoted the A'imma like Ash-Shafi'i and others. He said that they have forbidden ilm al-kalam, and they warned people against it. So now we say, who's An-Nawawi compared to Ash-Shafi'i? Okay? An-Nawawi contradicted himself in two things. Once he said that ilm al-kalam is etc. an important knowledge. In another place he said that the early scholars, all the imams, they have criticized this ilm al-kalam. So if a person contradicted, he's not evident. Okay? If they say that he is Ash'ari, we ask them, was Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari Ash'ari? He himself repented. And he wrote a book, Al-Ibana an Usul al-Diyana. And he said, my way is the way of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. So and Ahmad ibn Hanbal criticized the Ash'ari way, ilm al-kalam. So that's what we do. If you follow Ahmad ibn Hanbal, that means you are a real follower of Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari. If you don't follow the way of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, that means you're not on the way that Abu al-Hasan repented to. But An-Nawawi may be considered as Ash'ari, but Ibn Hajar, no. Ibn Hajar opposed the Ash'aris in many things, and one of them is ilm al-kalam. He went against it. Second, khabar al-ahad. He said there's no way to say that khabar al-ahad is not accepted. In matter of fact, Imam al-Shafi'i in his book Al-Risala, which is the first book written about usul fiqh, he's the first one. Okay? He proved he has special, all his book is something like 600 pages, was based on proving, affirming the hadith ahad. If it fulfilled its conditions, then it is accepted. Alaykum as-salam. What are the conditions of hadith al-ahad? هو ما اتصل إسناده. The chain is connected. There's no disconnections. There's no gaps in the chain of narration. اتصل إسناده بنقل العدل. The narrator is عادل, trustworthy. ضابط, with strong memory. Okay? عن مثله إلى منتهى. So these are the conditions of the authentic hadith. If this hadith met its conditions, then it should be accepted, whether ahad or mutawatir. So Ibn Hajar opposed the Ash'aris in many, I remember 6 substantial issues of Aqidah. So how can we be Ash'ari? And I never found. For example, in his book Fathul Bari, page 70, he said the first thing that people should be beginning with in their doctrine is to think. He said, those are the Ash'aris. And their leader there, he didn't say our. The leader of those Ash'aris, his name is Abu Ja'far al-Sumnani. He admitted that this is something among the trashes of Mu'tazila. It remained in the Ash'ari madhab. He said their leader. He didn't say our leader. Any other question? Your question is to go to Birmingham? That's your question? Okay, no other question? طيب جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.